5 elements were known: MCing, DJing, graffiti had grown, B-boy and knowledge, the pillars of the game, but a sixth emerged, adding to the flame. Comics and hip-hop, a fusion so tight, visual storytelling, lyrics that ignite, from the pages to the beats, a seamless blend, the sixth element where two worlds transcend.
Welcome to the sixth element show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu guiding the way, bringing you the culture every day. Welcome to the sixth element show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu.
What up, y'all? Reno and Stu in the building. Stu Dog in the house. What's up, Stu?
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.
Yes, sleeve, sleeve, get down. Peace.
Peace. 3 pieces. It's a 3-piece.
It's 3 pieces.
Called a 3-piece. Yeah, called
3 pieces. That's how you get down. 3 pieces of biscuit. 3 pieces.
I mean,
I get it now, Sleed. I get it.
Gotta have. I don't know. I don't think so. Not yet. Ain't nobody really in here yet. We just starting it off.
Oh, it's just us. Okay.
It ain't just us, but it's a couple people coming in. I think Slade gonna be here in a minute. Corey Adger probably. I mean, but yeah, man. And as it says there across the top, Alien Earth. Across the bottom, episode 1 and 2 review and recap. So we're gonna talk about that, of course, and along with that, you always know how we always chop it up and sprinkle in a little bit of seasoning and pepper some other flavors and bring all type of topics and entrees into the smorgasbord. And there's Slade. Welcome to the show, my man. And so tonight we're going to talk about a couple extra things. We're going to talk about the fact that the new Iron Fist, bro. You remember Iron Fist? And we were like, damn, the MCU Iron Fist. Well, Danny Rand
is the MCU Iron Fist.
And the MCU Iron Fist, right? So the MCU Iron Fist is going the way of the dodo bird. No more. The new Iron Fist is going to be something that makes a little bit more sense than like a blonde-haired white dude, and that's Shang-Chi, a character who is steeped in Chinese tradition and lore, and has never been the Iron Fist. So makes sense, I think, that a martial arts character will be have the greatest martial arts power in the Marvel universe. So that's going to be coming from the Ultimate Universe, just like most of the MCU always has, at least a lot of it. And so get into that. This came.
Oh, damn.
We'll break him out. He's real dope. Made a new kit bash. I'll talk about that, how I hooked up this crazy ass new version of Wolverine. I'll show you what his face and all looks like. And in the world of toys, we had the Gamerverse, Marvelverse Capcom, Omega Red, remember?
That Omega Red is dope.
Super excited. But the thing was, I was like, oh man, because I seen the legs and I recognized the legs, and I was like, oh, that's the exact Omega Red that they already gave. We already have, like, and so we're gonna talk about how the original Omega Red and the MvC Omega Red are quite different in a lot of ways, and how the original Omega Red is better in some ways, undisputably, unarguably better in some ways. So yeah, that'll be cool. We'll get into that because that's how we get down. We talk about the things that make us happy. Let's talk about Alien Earth. It was a damn good show, said Slade. Norn Rad in the building. Peace. Welcome to the show. As always, thank you for your patronage, I guess you'd say. Viewership. You saw this show, Stu?
Come on, dog. I'm a big Aliens fan. Alien and Predator. I was on top of that.
Corey Adger, salute.
I was in front of the TV right at 8 o'clock. Corey Adger.
Yeah.
Right
Ready
there,
and waiting.
8 o'clock, dog. Wait.
That's right. Ready and waiting for this bad boy. Yeah, it was definitely an anticipated show right here. This is one of those shows that we've been waiting for, because we're big fans of the franchise, the lore. I personally, I'm a big fan of like Prometheus. That's when I started to become a fan. Like as a kid in the '80s,
Mm.
Alien was always just a horror movie that
Well, wait a minute, Reno. We gotta go back a little further. Aliens actually came out in the '70s,
yeah,
and James
70s,
Cameron.
70s. I wasn't in
James
the
Cameron was the
70s.
one. Nah, I wasn't.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm gonna be
I'm
honest. When I was a kid, Alien, the first Alien movie I had never seen because the shit it was scary, and I never my mom like I didn't have cable like that, so we couldn't really watch
right.
it. And all my friends would talk about it that had cable that I was able to see it. It's like damn
Mm,
Alien, but then when Aliens 2 came out, I had never
mm,
seen Alien, and then I watched Alien 2, and then when I got access to
Alien.
Alien 1, I didn't
Yeah,
understand that it was a scary movie. It was a monster movie, so it moved at a slower pace,
right,
sort of like the
right,
Thing or something like. I didn't know that, so I
right.
was instantly kind of turned off by it. And then in the '90s,
I'm glad
I
you said
just
that.
sat down. Yeah, in the '90s, I sat down and watched it one day, and I appreciated it. I was like, "Damn, this joint was good," because I wanted to watch all three of the. I wanted to watch all three of them, and
Right,
that's when Alien 4 came out. So we got deals on
right.
movies, and I had it on VHS. So I got a good deal on 1 and 2, 1, 2, and 3 on VHS. I got a good deal. I think it cost me like $25. So I watched all three of them, but I never had an appreciation for Alien because I never watched it. And when you look at
You know what?
the title explains to you how many aliens there because you got alien, aliens with
Alien,
S, and then
aliens.
back to alien, which means only one. But watching this new one, it gave it this is the problem that's been with Alien and Alien. This is the problem been with the Alien movies. Not and this is part of the review. They forgot about the first Alien movie. The second Alien movie kept the lore and it kept the tech, but the
Yeah,
third movie didn't do that. And then the
no,
fourth movie didn't do that.
made up his
And
own
then
shit.
right, they made their own shit. But this right here took it back to its roots. It stayed in that universe.
Yeah,
And instead of trying to make a new universe, people hated it because of that. They hated all the alien movies because they never went back to what the original was. The scariness, the monsters, the
mhm,
xenomorphs being monsters and not being these intelligent creatures
right.
that stalk you down. We know they're intelligent, but at the end of the day, they're still monsters. And
Yeah,
they actually have a lore. So like when you talk about Bigfoot, Dracula, Frankenstein, the werewolf man, you got to throw the xenomorph in there along with
yeah.
Predator because those are the
Monster.
right. Those
That's
are
a real
modern day
classic
monsters,
Hollywood
right?
monster. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's the
Oh
problem
yeah.
with Predator. You got to remember Predator, even with all the tech, he's still a monster at the end
Yeah.
of the day,
Right. That's why I don't.
and
This new
that's
one where he's like a intelligent guy. It's turning me off a little bit. I don't know. But I'm glad you made a point about you brought up the fact that Alien One was kind of slow. Like for a
it
kid, like
was.
when I was young kid, and so by the time I saw him, when I was a kid, I didn't really get into it at first. And so I never got into that OG lore and stuff. And then like like I saw them all and everything, but it didn't pull me in until Prometheus, because Prometheus got
Yes,
into the lore of it. And I'm a lore.
yeah,
I love lore, bro. I just love lore of anything.
yeah. And
And
Prometheus
so
takes you back. It does.
yeah,
It took me back. It made me
exactly.
start watching it again. Wherever you use that on Prometheus, that's because Alien 4, Alien 3 was Alien 4 was no. I think they did one after that. That was definitely no. And then when Prometheus
Mhm.
came out, that breathed life back into the franchise. That made you want to
No
watch it
cable
again.
back in. Word. Yeah, exactly.
Took me back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corey, no cable back in it. I like that. We ain't get that joint until like probably about 88.
Yeah, yeah.
89 was when we steadily had cable in the house. I'm gonna keep it, but we had the hookup. I had that for a while. My mom had got
Yeah.
that, and when they came by and took that away, we ain't had cable for a long
I
time after that.
I was lucky my pops was a film buff. Like he was a movie guy. Like that he was so into
Okay,
movies. So he made sure to get HBO. Like that was because back in HBO, like in the early 80s, like that was the only way you could see movies on TV.
that's true. You're right.
They didn't
And I
have
didn't have
shit.
it, so yeah,
Yeah. And so
yeah,
he
yeah. You're
got
right.
that shit. he got that shit with his job and shit. Like that was his crowning jewel that he had HBO. I remember he was so happy.
No, you
and
right. You know, listen,
and
I would
we
have been
watched
happy too.
Star Wars, bro, every day, bro. That shit was on fucking
Mm-hmm.
six
Every
times
other
a day.
day. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Word.
I remember when we did have cable one year, man. What was it? Rocky 3 would come on all the time. I watched that joint every time it came on. I would be like, oh, joint Rocky 3? I'm like, watch that. Watch that hardcore Adja. Thank you. Um, but Alien Earth is to me is a big head nod to it, the original 70s.
Yeah.
Not the James Cameron joint, but the 70s joint. And
Yeah.
so James
Ridley
Cameron
Scott.
did, I'll give James Cameron props. He did uh speed it up. He did bring it into a more modern,
Yeah.
speedier, you know what I'm saying? Because if you would
Yeah.
drop another one like the first Alien in the 90s, or was that the 80s, people would be like, damn, what's this? Like, hey, we'd
Mhm.
beat it, it wouldn't have went over too well. But he brought it up to speed. He brought it up to the times. And I think that's the problem. They're trying to bring it up to the times, but they're forgetting the lore. Um, Another person who did that, that's what matter of fact, that's why we love Rogue One so much. That's exactly why we love Rogue One.
Yeah.
Because Rogue One, it feels like Star Wars. It doesn't have any Jedi's. It
Right.
doesn't have anything other than stormtroopers, the Empire,
Right.
and the Alliance, but it feels like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Whereas in everything else, but it's a modern take on Star Wars,
It's a
and we
modern
forget one.
version. Yeah.
Right. Where everybody else tried to do something different and it fails. That's just
hmm
it.
Renora say
But
weird how
watching,
the android knows everything about the Xeno. Very strange for timeline means Wutani knew about aliens long before the first movie. And
it's
yeah, and
true,
I
right?
mean
That's
it,
true, right? That's true, Norm.
it,
If
yeah,
you listen to the lore of Alien, that's true. He did know. This is what you got to remember. They went out there to get the Xenomorphs in the first movie.
yeah.
You
You gotta
knew the
watch
shit was there,
Prometheus.
and yeah, you gotta watch Prometheus. You gotta
Prometheus
watch all
is
that.
part of the
Yep,
alien. You got it. It's part of aliens, bro. You have to watch
part of Aliens.
Prometheus.
Yeah,
The one that
yeah.
came after Covenant, all that shit gets into it.
Covenant.
It's a little bit. They go like it gets real fucking complex. There's whole
It
fucking
does.
YouTube channels all about the complexities of the alien lore and shit. But yeah, Wutani. See, this movie, this show, it kind of has like its subplot. The alien is just this is just gonna happen during our plot, and our plot is about the corporations trying to be the first one to come out with the best version of, like, synthetics. They either one company is making cyborgs, one company is making straight up AI androids, and one company is making synthetic bodies with human consciousness inside of them. And
Mm,
whoever has the best the race is to see who's going to be the winning technology out of the three. And so, like, but there's all three types on the ship. Like, one dude's a cyborg. There's the young girl. She is the in the body with the human consciousness. The young girl, she's dying. She's all
oh
she
yeah, yeah. The children.
and
Yeah.
she dies, and they put her consciousness in the what you call them, synth body and stuff.
In
And
the
so,
synth
like,
body. Yeah.
that whole B plot is going on. Hang on, Corey said back in Philly when HBO came out, it was a switch box, yeah,
Yeah.
with
I remember
clickers
that.
and shit, yeah.
Yeah, the joint you had with the you had to tune it in a little bit. You had
Uh-huh.
the little roller on top. I mean, because when all the if you didn't
You had
have
to
it,
have the box, yeah. You had to have that,
you had that
and
little box.
yeah, and like, you know, it was ways in the hood we came upon them boxes for a one-time fee and didn't have to worry
Hmm.
about no cable bill. That's how motherfuckers had HBO. The company's already covering up the crash, so no one knows what really happened.
That's true.
Yeah, in the
That's true.
movie, in the show, yeah, they come in, they crash land on Earth. It's called Alien Earth because it's the first time really that we're on Earth and not way out in
In
space
space.
on the ship. But
Space. Yeah.
the alien, yeah, I mean, even before James Cameron got the movie Ridley from Ridley Scott, you had John Carpenter kind of using Dan O'Bannon's early ideas of an extraterrestrial slasher movie for his sci-fi comedy student film Dark Star. So a lot of people don't know, like, this is where, yeah. And so, but it wasn't until Ridley Scott put this student film Dark Scar O'Banion's script to Sigourney Weaver's Ripley and H.R. Geiger's BDSM inspired design that we know as the Xenomorph. So if you don't know about this artist named H.R. Geiger, look him up, do yourself a favor, waste no time. It's one of the illest artists, I think, of all time, and you will see instantly where the design of the alien monster came from. This guy H.R. Geiger, all his art is in that style, and it's just like it sounds. Giger, initial H.R. Geiger. Yeah, he's a crazy artist, but he invented the Xenomorph. You know, obviously Sigourney Weaver's Ripley was a huge draw. That was the first female badass protagonist that now permeates Hollywood, that at that time was such a cool thing because it was different. It was something new and niche, and like dudes were like, yo, she's bad as fuck, and like that was cool. Then nobody was worried about it, nobody said that it was woke or anything like that. It was just cool. And since 1979 there's been an alien war film, an alien prison film, an aggressively French interpretation, a couple of versus Predator movies, and you know that all aim for and occasionally hit the dumb fun bullseye. But when Ridley Scott came back for Prometheus and Alien Covenant, then he expanded the ideas from the 1979 material, the meta-textual musings, prequels, and the macro for the philosophical splatterfests about humanity's relationship to intelligent design and designed intelligence, AI, all that shit. And through Michael Fassbender's portrayal of the alien, or the android David, Ridley Scott theorized that after 33 years away, the most alien aspect of these movies is the synthetic robots. And so that's a big part of this whole thing, and that's what a lot of this show is. So this show is the franchise's very first TV series. Believe it or not, like I was actually surprised when I looked for it. Like there's never been anything. There's never been any kind of show for Alien. And
yeah, it is. You're
this
right.
series,
Because even in what was the name of the new one, Arena, that came out? I think this year.
what?
Alien something. The new Alien movie that came out this year.
Oh,
Alien. What was it? Alien something. That was good. And even the
yeah.
synthroid in that one, that was the first time we ever seen an African American synth. Like,
Yeah.
because all
Well,
of them
in this
always
show,
been.
we got the cyborg is a black dude, and
Yeah, we seen them be different. But
there's an Asian guy.
yeah, because the greatest synth ever played in Hollywood was Rutger Hauer and Blade
Yes.
Runner. I don't think anybody's ever gonna top that, and that performance he did with Harrison Ford on the roof in the rain.
And
That's
you know, the
probably
Blade Runner universe is connected,
yes,
and that's
yes.
the crazy shit. Like
That's the
the
crazy
Blade
shit.
Runner
Yeah.
universe, a lot of people don't know
I
that,
don't.
and
I mean, I don't know how, but I know it is. I don't.
they
I never
don't.
really looked at. They don't really say how, but
It's like loosely because James Cameron. It's just a loose.
oh, because James Cameron and Aliens, so they kind of.
Yeah, or Ridley
It's
Scott. Ridley Scott, I think,
yeah,
is the
Ridley
one that
Scott.
does Blade Runner. Yeah, Ridley Scott, Blade Runner. Yeah. So Ridley
Did
Scott
Blade Runner, yeah.
is the original. So after this show, the TV series picks up where Ridley Scott's left off, right? Set in 2120, roughly 15 years after Covenant, Alien Covenant, the Prometheus sequel, and 2 years before the 1979 Alien movie. So this is a prequel to the Alien movie in 1979. So it's part of that whole lore, and this is what's actually supposedly 2 years before that. And so the first episode of Alien Earth, appears as very interested in synthetics as it is in the xenomorphs, very much the same. And the creator of this show, Noah Hawley, said, if we're making Blade Runner, we're making the wrong Ridley Scott movie. At least the first episode, Neverland, you can see why he was concerned. So like, and that's another thing. Like they named the show Neverland, and like these synth where they put the kids, the terminally ill kids that die, they put their consciousness in these synths, and they call them the Lost Boys. And so it's like some Peter Pan shit. And Noah Hawley that made the show, sort of, he's known for Legion, which is a very trippy, almost forgotten X-Men spinoff about Legion. One of the coolest X-Men characters, Xavier's son, and that remains one of Marvel's better TV movies, or TV shows, I should say. And then he also did Fargo, which is phenomenal. And on Fargo, yeah, yeah,
I'm
and
not
that
watched
one,
Level for a
because
long
he's good
time
at this
now.
kind of shit, like at taking them
Yeah,
shows and like taking
Fargo's
something
good.
that already exists and like making something out of it. Like Fargo, that's something he used the Coen brothers movie as a jumping off point to explore, those sort of interests and mash together all their works with, so that Miller's Crossing gang wars can interact with The Man Who Wasn't There's UFO encounters and unified,
Mm,
all that shit. And so, but Noah Hawley is making this show with, and with the episode 1 called Neverland, he looks, and sort of splits the difference between Ridley Scott's sci-fi masterpieces like Alien and Blade Runner, and I think creates a very efficient remake of both. And he also wrote it. He wrote 8 episodes, Noah Hawley, of the series, directed the first half of the 2-part premiere. So he directed the first one. And the show sort of expands the alien mythos, and he builds out the corporate hellscape of Earth 95 years from now. So this is like almost 100 years in the future, showing us for the first time the companies that sent the Nostromo to collect the face hugger, but instead of the Nostromo, we meet what could be its sort of sibling ship, the Maggonaut. And so our time with the Maggonaut is for exposition primarily in this show, just sort of letting us know what's going on. So after awakening from this sort of dreamy, crossfade, heavy hyper sleep, we kind of are introduced to the cast of the show. The different archetypes are, really obvious. They're sitting around the breakfast table. One guy's smoking a cigarette and they're having their conversations that we've heard before. And it's very reminiscent of, like Stu said, of the original Alien movie, and Prometheus and anything that Ridley Scott has done, where it's like that throwback shit. And complaining about the food and the questions about the mission, and mixed with very helpful exposition for us, about which corporation owns which continents and the planets and the differences between synthetics and cyborgs, and they sort of lay all that out in that scene, I think, very well. And Noah Hawley takes very, uh like he does good at like reestablishing that very sterile atmosphere of the original movie, but within like the 1970s technology. So think about like anything that you can make. It's just like how they did the movie. Like they made shit look like it was the future using shit that they had in 1979, right? So glass bottles, they didn't have plastic bottles and shit everywhere. So bottles were glass and shit like that. Like you know what I mean? Like so the way they did this show is they made everything futuristic, only using shit that you would have in 1979, so that it looks and feels just like the 1979 movie, which I think was brilliant. And I noticed that when I was like watching the kid that was sick, and they were, walking him, through the hospital, and he had the
oh yeah, the IV, the joint.
the IV, right, the drip, and it was a glass bottle. And I was like, that's they would never have that in the future, but okay, yeah, it's throwing back to how it would have been in the 79 movie. That's what they would have had. And a lot of shit you see, like the computers and all that shit, looks very 1979, which again, I love that. I fucking love that. That definitely. And then the composer Jeff Russo hits Jerry Goldsmith's very familiar soundtrack right in there. Production designer Andy Nicholson very lovingly recreates the spacecraft with practical sets. Again, it's not a bunch of CGI bullshit or anything like that. It looks very, very similar to the 1979, similar to Andor, like you said, Rogue One.
It's like Rogue One.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
melding the
Like Rogue One.
background so that they don't really call attention to themselves, and so
It's like
like
Rogue One.
just like they did in 1979, and
And that's also too. Also I like that because normally, and this is, and I hate to say this, but it's not that the younger kids and their generation, but um, sometimes you got to pay homage to what came first. And if it worked, it worked. Like there's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So like going back to that 70s look, and just recreating that to stay in those confines, like stay in that box and still tell this story, it is profoundly satisfying.
yeah,
That's the best thing I can say because for me watching it, that's how I felt. I felt satisfied after I watched both episodes. I felt like they did a good job
yeah.
at recreating that universe from Alien. That's I think what everybody, including myself, has been wanting.
That's the movie Romulus.
Right. Romulus, yes. I think that's what everybody's been wanting, that
Yeah,
alien universe.
right.
Aliens was something different, but I think we wanted the fast pace of aliens, but in that alien universe. And that's the difference because they're two different movies. Even
Yeah,
though they're based up about the same thing and they got the xenomorphs, they are two different movies.
yeah, yeah. One definitely appeals more to a younger audience, with the more fast pace and less lore dumping and stuff like that. Nora said made a good point here. So yeah, the alien design, obviously the head and everything is very phallic, and the egg, the face hugger and the egg is very uh vaginal.
That's a good little. Thank you, Nora Rad. That's a good little tidbit there that we
It's
didn't know.
true. I
Because I
mean, no,
definitely didn't know it. I'm not gonna
no,
lie.
no.
I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah,
No, I didn't know
oh
that.
yeah,
I thought it.
yeah.
I mean, now that I look at it, yeah, I can see. I can see
Oh
the
yeah,
resemblance.
yeah. Yeah. They did give Rugger a nice homage with what's his name? Fuck. Oliphant, Timothy Oliphant, playing the synth character with the blonde, sort of spiked hair like Rutger Hauer's. Also, kind of reminiscent of like Sting from Dune in the 80s. Blade Runner was Wutani. That's there's all kind of corporation. Yeah, there's all kinds of like little shit like in between the two what do you call it, universes. It's like one universe. In the original Alien movie, one of the crew say the Tyrell Corporation from Blade Runner. You know what I got, dude? Some crazy shit.
I gotta catch that. I gotta catch that Nora Rad next time I watch Blade Runner.
So Blade Runner, this little side thing. Blade Runner is based on a book. Um, a short story book, really, by Philip K. Dick. And Philip K. Dick is one of the illest, bro. All the dopest shit, like Minority Report, fucking yeah, Blade Runner, A Scanner Darkly, just all kinds of like dope of the coolest, like sci-fi, wildest, coolest sci-fi futuristic shit are written by this one guy, Philip K. Dick. And he so the book Blade Runner is not called Blade Runner, it's called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Them sheets. Yep. Oh,
And yeah, it's not much like the movie at all, but I got this Do Androids Dream of Electric Sleep graphic novel. Dope. Like I said, it's very different than Blade Runner, but I'm a big Blade Runner fan. Like it's it's not a super duper easy read
I
because
bet it is.
it's
I
not
bet it is.
not not at all.
You gotta
But
be into that, huh? It's
you
one of them
gotta
books
be
you
into.
gotta be into that sort of
Oh
thing.
yeah, absolutely. Fargo was a banger.
It was.
Retro Fear, definitely one of the best.
Norman Rad, I'm gonna be honest with you, I literally slept on that for a long time. And the only reason why I watched it, because man, nothing else to watch. And I
What?
felt like watching something. Uh what do you call it? Fargo.
Oh, word? Oh, you mean the
Yeah,
movie or the
bro.
show? The
Yeah,
movie? The movie back in
both.
the day?
The both. Because I
So
watched the
yeah, the
movie.
movie.
The movie I had never seen. Everybody talking about it. So how good it was.
Yeah,
I was like, I'll check it out. And one day I
yeah,
just like, you know what, let me check this joint out. I watched it and was thoroughly impressed. I was
yeah,
like,
bro.
damn. I was like, yo, this was
It-
good. Like I was
it's
shocked that
not.
that
Yeah, because like you
I felt
can't
like I
watch.
accomplished something. I
You
felt like I
can't watch
accomplished
the
something.
trailer. You can't watch the trailer and understand like what it's gonna be like. Like if you just see the trailer of Fargo, you'd be like, yeah, this ain't gonna be for me.
That's why I was like, I was just like that. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I literally said that. I said, nah, I'm gonna pass on that one. I can't sit there and watch that.
And I'm
And
telling you,
then
it's one of the best, coolest, most well written fucking crime stories. So well done. Like most people thought it was a true story, which
I did. I thought it was. I literally
which
thought it
you
was.
can, which they say it is. I mean, in the beginning of the movie, it says this is a true story, which is crazy because it's not a true story. It's one of the only movies I've ever seen that says this is a true story in the beginning, and it's not. Like that's very crazy. But they, very notoriously did that, and it fucked a lot of people up because a lot of people are like, "What? This shit really happened? Oh my god!" And of course, it didn't ever happen, and
Yeah.
completely made up.
It's like the Blair Witch Project. We thought it was real, but it wasn't.
Right. Yeah. 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 Just like that. Blair Witch Project was made so that you would think it was a real documentary about a documentary that really happened, and none of it ever really happened, obviously. So
Nah, but I tell you what, they
very
played the
well
hell
written.
out of that movie, and very well
Yeah.
played and acted. And
Yeah.
when I saw them,
Yeah.
they won an award for the movie, and I seen the award show. I was like, wait a minute, they supposed to
Yeah.
be dead. Wait, what? I
Yeah.
was like, come on, stop it. I was like,
Did
that
you?
can't. I was like,
You
"Ah."
thought?
I thought it was. I thought the act. Listen, bro. Listen. I thought the actors in the movie was the
They
real
really
people in the
died?
documentary.
Oh wow.
Yeah, bro, because that's how real it was. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, yo,
Yeah.
this joint is all like when the
It,
girl was crying and
uh-huh.
she was in the joint, she was like listening, you can hear the, whatever it is
Bro,
that's out there,
one of the creepiest shits,
yelling,
bro. Yeah,
bro,
it's creepy ass
it's all
movie
the way
because
out.
you can imagine being in the woods like and just being like way in the woods where you're lost way out in the woods type shit. There's no help. There's no help. And you're
Nothing.
in the darkness and you can't see fucking 10 feet in front of you and there's fucking crazy noises, bro. And you just
Hmm.
seen hella stick figures, so you know it's some intelligent thing out here, some evil shit. Oh man. Yeah, that was a banger.
Yeah.
Blair Witch there's a documentary about it called I don't know. I sent you the thing. It's fucking the documentary is crazy. The documentary is
I
very
do
good.
know
Very good.
the Blair Witch, like the lore is true, but
No,
whatever
none of it.
happened in the
Not even
movie,
that's true.
that ain't true.
Watch the
None of
documentary.
that's true.
They made up
Because I
they
watched the
made up
thing.
every
Yeah,
bit of
because
it.
they
There's even
got me
they
again.
tried to make it. They tried to put out shit like web pages and shit should try and promote that it was a real legend before the movie to stir up that when it came out, so people would think, oh yeah, that was a real legend and shit. And they completely made all of it up. There's a whole documentary about it. It's fucking great.
Well, I can
It's
tell you
great.
what,
It's
they did a
brilliant.
damn good job. They did a damn
Brilliant.
good job.
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
agree.
the Blade Runner's talking about the singularity, the goals of the synths and all that. So it's all about synths and hybrids, and that's what a lot of this is about too. Marshall Warpath, salute, what it do, peace. Welcome. And he said that's a hell of a name, Philip A. Dick, not A. Dick, Philip K. Dick, Philip a Dick.
That's the
He said, nah,
that's still a hell of a Philip K. Dick.
you
Damn,
like
Philip K. Dick.
Norman Rad. I know you did not. That is a lie, sir.
I like Blair Witch too. What? No,
That's
no,
a lie, sir.
stop,
That's a lie.
stop,
That's called
stop.
trolling.
I'm just gonna act like we didn't even see that,
I
man.
know you
Stop,
trolling. I know you
stop.
trolling.
Yeah, you gotta be trolling. Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
if you're not trolling, I don't mean to fucking rag on your shit like that. But I think 2 was more of a real movie. If that's your, I mean, yeah, I can see why someone would say, because 2 felt more like a movie, whereas 1 felt more like a documentary about a movie. So, if you were looking
it
for a
did.
movie, you would probably
You
like
know,
2 better. But I don't know.
I thought the
Yeah.
first. Everybody in America thought the first one was real. Because that's how
Oh
they
yeah,
put it out there. They put it
that's how
out
they
there
put it
like
in.
we found these tapes from these
Yeah.
kids that went in the woods looking for the Blair Witch. Like that's how they pitched it, John.
Well, there was
So
so
when we
many
seen the
found footage
documentary,
movies after that shit.
yeah, when we seen the documentary, we was like, damn, this is tapes they found. So everything that happened to these, and the way they presented it, like the parents was talking about it. Yeah, my daughter went out there. Da da da
Right.
da 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 da. Da. We was like, yo, you watching this thing? Your mouth is on the floor. This is better than reality TV because
Right.
that's all
That
we
was
was
the
getting
first
at that
shit.
time.
We never seen no shit like that before. Nothing like that.
Nothing, bruh.
But yeah, like Norman Rad said,
Nothing.
part 2 had the actual witch in it and all that. So yeah, I mean that's more of a movie. Like 1, it wasn't supposed to have the witch. 1 was just supposed to be something. The point was that these guys made it. Like these student filmmakers made this entire movie with like
Mhm.
$18,000 and made fucking $100 million.
A
Like they're
blockbuster, yeah.
they're
Yeah, they made
rich
a
the rest of
blockbuster.
their lives
Their
because it was
lives,
pure
yeah.
profit. The movie cost nothing to make. That's the beauty of the Blair Witch. That's why the Blair Witch I think it's the most profitable film of all time because they spent nothing to make it and it was a huge blockbuster.
It was a huge, bruh. Yeah, I
Mega,
know people
mega,
went and seen the joint
mega.
3 or 4 times. Like they went back to see the movie. I saw it once, but
Yeah.
I mean in the movies. But
Stu,
like,
I,
I know people that saw it like 3 and 4 times. Like they was obsessed with it. Like yo, that can't
yeah.
be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, because they
Yo,
thought it
went
was
back.
real.
And then when it
And
came
you
out on
wanted and you
video,
wanted it was so
yeah, I bought
satisfying.
it. It was, bro. Like we don't. It's very rare we get movies like that, man.
Because
We get
another thing that was great about it was the ending makes you go what the fuck just
yeah, the
happened?
way it
And you're
ended.
like, who?
Yes,
And you're
yeah.
like rewind it and you're like, did I miss something? And then you're like, that's it? What does that mean? And then you're like, oh, what does that mean? And then you gotta find out what that means. Why is the guy standing in the fucking corner like that? God damn it.
Yeah. Which takes us back to Alien Earth. Alien Earth was creepy like Alien.
Right, like Alien.
And Aliens had a little creep.
It was
It was like
based
a
on it was
creepy
gonna be a horror
action.
movie.
Yeah, but this one was like it was like back to that horror roots, that creepiness. So like if you now I'm watching this joint, it's like 8, 9 at night. I'm watching this. I'm like, eh. So then when you start walking around your house or whatever, you like, yeah, you looking like you looking like all right. Like all right,
Ah,
let me get
turn the
back
light
here.
on before I go in here.
Yeah, so it made you feel like that. I like that. I like when movies
Call
make
the
me
dog
feel
and shit.
that way. Yeah.
Go in there,
Yeah.
go
You're
in
like, all right, what's going down? What's the
there.
dog barking at? Oh Lord. Yeah, so
Yo, I'll go
it's
before
like it's
sometime
one of
before
those.
I go downstairs, I'll call the dog and be like, Kaneki, go downstairs. Bro, if anybody even fucking poke their head inside my house, my dog's gonna be like and start barking, bro. Like if someone even knocks on the door, she goes nuts. Like someone could even my ex-wife would come over sometime and like if the door's unlocked, she'd just come in and shit. And she would just come in and make no noise. I didn't know shit. And me and Blaze are sitting there and the dog just hop up and start barking. And we're like, what the fuck? We find out that she done came in the house and she's downstairs because even she doesn't really know my wife at all that much because she was already moved out by the time we got the dog. So when she came in, she showed us just how it would be if anybody besides me and Blaze came in here.
And she let you know this is my territory and I run this. And if anybody come in here without our permission, not our permission, I'm on top of that. But that's
Yeah,
a good
bro.
dog, man. And
She's
you
a good
can't,
dog.
whenever your dog,
She's
my
very
grandfather
loyal.
used to always say, when a dog bark, go see what he barking at. He used to always say that. He used to be like, when you got a dog, you train your dog not to bark unless necessary. He was like, that's the first thing you do.
Yeah,
And he used to
that's
be
the
like,
thing.
he said, you train a dog to come when you call it, to not bark for nothing. And if
Yeah,
anybody come in this house without your permission, uh, tear him up, give it to him. And I always train my dogs like, so if your dog is doing, that's a good dog, man.
yeah,
That's
bro.
just real. Make sure you feed her well. Make sure you
Oh
feed her
yeah,
well.
oh yeah. She's we're very well loved. But yeah, I think the smartest thing about it is you know um the slow crossfades and the slower moments and stuff that give you that feeling of like you just woke from a heavy sleep and like there's might be something in the shadows sort of recentering us in the world and setting us up back into that Ridley Scott atmosphere, that original film. And so I think the smartest thing about it is that we don't spend time here. Holly does an Alien remake sort of in the edit, showing flashes of the what we know is going to be the inevitable containment breach of the mission's precious cargo, and the subsequent bloodbath that is sort of follow when the alien runs around the ship. And so like we see that happening, and I think it was forget who said this in the chat about the sort of killing of everybody in the ship kind of happens too fast. And I think because it happens first and then we go back and kind of I think we're gonna see how it happens. So I don't think you know what I mean, like, so I don't know, it seems like there's a lot of flashbacks and back and forth, so there might be more that we haven't seen in the third episode. But there's only one character on the Maganaut worth meeting, and it's Morrow, the ship's cyborg security officer, hiding in uh, the mother room, and setting a collision course for Earth. And so Morrow leaves his would be Ripley to die, like she's like trying to get in. She's like, help me. And remember he had the door locked, and he was in there just sort of setting the course for the ship to go to Earth. Even though so at this point we don't see it happen, right? But everyone's been killed by the alien, and he sort of escapes into this one little room where he can program the ship to go to Earth. And like the last survivor is banging on the door like, let me in, the alien's coming. And like she's like, let me in. And he like walks up to the door and like welds it shut and just looks at her through the glass like, sorry bitch, and goes back to the fucking thing. And then the alien kills her and then looks at him and busts through the door to get at him. But it's too late because he's already programmed the ship to go back to Earth. And so the alien kills him and everyone on the ship. And now that ship is going to Earth. So the ship gets to Earth and crashes very 9/11 style right into a building in the middle of the city. And so it's very, very reminiscent of Ground Zero during 9/11. Everyone's running around, and first responders are coming in. So the other half of the episode lets us know what's happening on Prodigy through the eyes of a hybrid named Wendy. And here's why the director and writer Noah Hawley worried about making the wrong Ridley Scott movie. Led by a young tech virtuoso named, and I am not bullshitting you, Boy Cavalier. Might as well name. It's his name is Boy Cavalier. I'm not shitting you. And he's a prodigy, and he's got a company called Prodigy that runs the southern half of Africa, Australia, Southeast Asia. Prodigy City, or New Siam, is where Boy does his work in his business. So, which concerns taking sick children, terminally sick children like Wendy, and transferring their consciousness into these synthetic adult bodies. And the episode's opening text, in the beginning, much like the text in the beginning of Blade Runner, tells us that whoever cracks how hybrid humans will win the robotic arms race, wins or whatever. And so Boy has finally done that by dumping the contents of sick children's brains into the body of a 30-year-old woman. But transferring consciousness leaves the hybrids feeling empty because Wendy doesn't understand her adult body. She's like, what are these tits? Like, she never had tits before. And she's like, they make a scene out of that. And it's like pretty weird that they would put like this little kid into this adult body with like no sort of fucking like explanations or breakdowns or anything like that for her. Just kind of wake up. And so Wendy can leap from now, leap tall buildings in a single bound. She's got super bionic strength, and attach a paper cutter to her magnetic spine, but she misses eating. She watching Ice Age with her brother, who is named Hermit, played by Alex Lawther. And so her hybrid body does not come with any sort of owner's manual, and so she's guided by the cold synthetic named Kirsch, who is played by Timothy Olyphant, who clearly loves playing a robot, and is definitely an homage to Rutger Hauer. So then there's Dame Sylvia, who is played by Essie Davis, who's presumably a human or at least a synthetic with more advanced bedside manner programming than Kirsch. So, but Wendy is the first of many sidekicks turned hybrid humans that Kirsch and Dame will be assisting. So appropriately or annoyingly, if you're allergic to J.M. Barrie, Wendy, God damn it, Wendy, Peter Pan calls her Lost Boys, just in case we didn't get it from Boy Cavalier playing Disney's Peter Pan during the consciousness transfer on the ceiling for the kid to see. And so all the Lost Boys are named after characters from the film. Of course, you got Toodles and Slightly and Nibs. And the illusion hammers home the theme of the episode without really staying forever young like Peter Pan, sort of deal. And so, but once the ship, the Magonaut, does crash into Prodigy City, the two plots now converge, right? So we have these two plots sort of juxtaposed that now are one story, now part of the same movie. And so Wendy and her Lost Boys are kind of ready to be first responders and go help the people that are hurt or dying or dead at the crash site. And the show is now, I think, the exact opposite of an Alien movie. It's very much outside, very daylight and shit like that, and not scary or anything like that. Then you have Black Sabbath song called "The Mob Rules," kind of ending the episode. And the second episode, Mr. October, we sort of see gives us what we expected from a show called Alien Earth. I think it's set in a building that is now the Magonaut's crash site. Hermit, her brother, and a pair of Marines sort of conduct a search and rescue mission, like as Wendy and the Lost Boys do the same for her brother. And these scenes with the Lost Boys can be pretty trying, given that these bots have the consciousness of children. So, but obviously they're played by actors that are adults, right? So I don't know about you, but I think there's nothing more annoying than adults playing kids. I think it's ridiculous. It never comes off right. It always seems
Nah, it
cheesy.
doesn't. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
because the adults try too hard
Right.
to be kids. Where
Right.
kids
Kids
are
just
the
act.
ones. Kids try hard to be adults,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell. And it's the same thing with adults trying to be kids.
Right.
Um, they
Right.
just they. If it was like if I was a kid and I was trying to be an adult, I would act like an adult. I wouldn't act like a
Right.
kid that is an adult. And
Right.
I think that's where the actors mess up at.
All they would have to
Movies.
do, honestly, if I'm playing a kid, I'm just gonna act normal, but I just might not have certain wisdoms. I might not inherently know certain.
Right.
I'm not gonna
Not be
talk like a
silly.
goddamn 3-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or be silly, or like they do little stuff.
Just
Think
dumb and shit. Like,
that's yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't change. Like Shazam, I think that's what killed the Shazam movie. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Billy Batson in the comics, he's doing an acting job. He's acting like an adult. He doesn't really speak much when he's around the other people,
Right.
because he wants them to think he's an adult.
Right.
But the only one that ever really kind of picked up on it was Batman. The other heroes would kind of comment
Huh.
on some of the stuff he would say.
Right.
He would have he would have like childish outbursts. That's that would be more like an adult, like a kid that's in an adult's body. Like he would have outbursts like a child. Like
Right.
he wouldn't say childish things. He would do childish things
Right.
that you would expect from an adolescent. Like
Right.
that's how it was. Like he just did things that you would expect from a child, but he was a man. But it was kind of covered up because you do have some adults that act like children. So that's why the heroes would never really put it together. Batman was the only one that figured it out. And so
Yeah.
when these actors play these kids, try to play these kids, they should try to do the same thing. Like, you can have a childish outburst. You can say
Yeah.
some things, maybe talk in a slang like kids would talk. But if you're trying to fool people, it wouldn't be too much. Like you might slip up here and there or something like
Yeah.
that, but it wouldn't be
But it
too
wouldn't be just
obvious.
like this obvious, like you're doing a voice and shit like that. And obviously, these
Yeah,
actors play acting as kids. It does get really kind of tiresome, and because it's not funny at all. It's just very annoying. And so, but it gives the character slightly a reason to immediately blurt out Wendy's plan and to find her brother in front of Kirsch, because obviously no one would ever do that. And thankfully, being a thoroughbred prodigy synthetic, Kirsch is more interested in the flora attached to the ceiling. And but most importantly, the apartment building gives the xeno or fauna gives the xenomorph room to play. As is the case in reality, like whether it be a global pandemic or a spaceship containing numerous alien life forms crashing into their condo, rich people are immune to external tragedy. And that's true regardless of
that's
circumstances, but
true. That
especially
is
when they're
true.
dressed as extras from Amadeus. The 18th century costume party is as good a buffet that's ever existed for an alien hunter. And that hermit tries to get the idiot to evacuate, makes his death even more delicious and satisfying. And you want there to be some some chum in the water for the monsters to chew on. And it's a credit for the leniency that FX gives towards violence, because the show goes hard on the brutality in these scenes, and it's really not something you would expect from a TV show at all. But it's great. And so with the xenomorph like cutting through the members of the Prodigy cities, 1%, the billionaires, like wet paper bags, and just leaving nothing but entrails behind. Is great. So, but once inside, Hermit comes face to face with the monster in a slow motion sequence, very much like Alien versus Predator type shit, which comes in time for Morrow to tag the beast in a futuristic and seemingly biological net. And I think The one thing that is missing though is the scares. There's the jump scares. There's no scares in this show. It's very much more of an action show. And so the first time we see the xenomorph, it's for the audience's edification, popping out from behind a collapsed wall, like to say, like, don't forget about me, and so this happens throughout, with the conspicuous xenomorph appearing in the frame and announcing its presence. Mr. October, episode 2, director Dana Gonzalez is not really the first person to struggle to make a monster scary after 1979, because really, movies didn't get scarier. I don't think they got maybe more detailed or whatever, but classics like The Thing and Alien will always have something that really, I don't think, can be recreated in modern filmmaking, because there's something about the graininess of the film and the light, the bad lighting, and the inability to see certain shit, or just the good lighting, and just, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's something that you just can't do these days. And so it's great, but yeah. Another issue is Boy Cavalier, who I fucking hate that name, who is perhaps the most purposefully annoying character in the series. And again, I it's very much on purpose, so I kind of can deal with it. But he's very and Paul Reiser had
To
a
me,
had a
to me, he's like the Flash Thompson of the damn
yeah, yeah. Or I was gonna say the Burke, the Paul Reiser's Burke, the company stooge that leads Ripley's doomed team in James Cameron's sequel Aliens.
Oh yeah, Bert, yeah.
Man, but there needs to be someone in these movies that the audience can't wait to see die and get slaughtered. So he's definitely Boy Cavalier. Like we can't wait for him to get his head ripped open, right? So and very few fit the bill better than young Mr. Cavalier. Like his talk with Dame Sylvia in which he pines for a person or a synthetic who challenges him, because no one's on his level. And like Holly has more hope, I think, in today's tech wizards than I do. At, at least Cavalier is trying to make a product that fulfills his function, and his modern day equivalents are more interested in like revolutionizing spam and deep fake and revenge porn and AI and metaverses for their various Nazi and bot plagued social networks. But still, it's not lost on Dane Silva how fucking rude it is for Cavalier to tell her face to face that she's not on his level, and that maybe with the proper training, a synthetic with consciousness of a child can do it. Yeah, this dude is definitely begging to have his face ripped out of the back of his head. And so the first two episodes of Alien Earth throw a lot at us. Some of it is pretty interesting, and it's striving for a very unique tone. But in this premiere, I think it hews too close to the magical orphans of Alien Romulus. And so this whole thing could use a touch more Harry Dean Stanton energy, but however, it's also trying to be that Andor of the alien world. And so recreating the design language of the original, elevating the political and social framework that's always been present. And so there's a lot to dig into with, between Prodigy and the Yutani, the Wayland Yutani, and to say nothing of the other three corporations we have yet to meet, because we've not really gone into those yet. So there's definitely a lot more story that we haven't really gotten to explore in episodes 1 and 2 yet. So lots to look forward to. And the ship crash gives the writer, I think, good reason to explore the relationships of our current overlords. So you have these companies, they have everything, and so one of the things that the founders, like this Cavalier kid, want is whatever they don't have, basically. Primarily, the eyeball squid monsters that Yutani is desperate to copyright. And so you might assume that he's going to regret that, but if Wayland Yutani's centuries-long search for the xenomorph teaches us anything, he won't. That's something he's always been, going after. So, you know, it's no surprise there.
No, no, whatsoever.
But
So
a lot
overall,
of these
I give it a 2 thumbs up overall. Man.
a 2 thumbs up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, bro. I'm just going. Yeah, I mean, not to cut you off, but I don't know, bro. When I first seen the commercial for it and the trailer, I was kind of like on the fence. I was like,
yeah,
didn't know what to expect, didn't know what to think. Watched it. Damn, they did a good job. So
yeah.
I got to put my hat off to it.
Well, like LA Times, I got some LA Times, Rolling Stone, a lot of different. So LA Times said Alien Earth is a tense, dark meditation about what makes us human. This right here is the one of the child. This is Wendy. That the child in the adult's body. Very, very on the nose. Very Peter Pan, Lost Boys. At least it's not. It says it's not the least of this world's wonders that they've been nearly half century since Alien Ripley, person of Sigourney Weaver, sent alien in person. Blah blah blah. So it's a pretty good article here. A lot of cool stuff that you can learn about it. And then you've got Ebert, Siskel and Ebert, or Roger Ebert. If you're from the '80s, you know Siskel and Ebert back in the day were the film critics. But now
Still
they
were.
still do their
Yeah,
thing.
still
They
were.
still do they had their thing, but still doing their thing. This one says FX's Alien Earth shatters already high expectations. Um, this is okay. I thought it was Ebert. This is RogerEbert.com, but this guy is Brian Tallarico who's saying this. He says that each episode opens with what could be called an overture. The title takes shape. Groundbreaking sound, images flash across the screen as a sort of twisted previously on, but they also seems to contain new data, much like the composer integrating previous themes while also previewing what's to come. Yeah, very, very good article here about it, talking about the depth of the fans that of Prometheus admired with the intense action and bone-chilling imagery of Cameron's Aliens. That's the part 2, the one that Stu likes that has more action. And so it is really, really everything there. Philosophical depth, all that shit. You got I think I had one from Rolling Stone. What we got? The Guardian, Alien Earth review. TV that bristles with bone deep dread. This is the guy. This is the cyborg dude here. He's in the room there where he's programming the Earth. But look at this. I mean, you can see. Look at these like lights. Like
all that's from the 70s.
that's from there. There would nothing be in any futuristic spaceship that looks like this. Look at this screen right here, like old school TV. This is all 70s technology here. Very cool. It's like these like keyboard buttons or some shit. I love it. The gloriously horrific monsters are classical nightmare fuel in this incredibly confident new take on Ridley Scott's movie franchise. We haven't seen a trail of bodies like this in years. And then you got who else? NPR said Alien Earth is one of the best shows so far this year.
It is. I would 100% agree with that.
Sheesh. I don't know about that.
I mean, well, wait a minute.
I've seen a lot of great fucking shows this year.
Between that and Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, best shows I've seen this year.
Oh, you like Strange New Worlds? Yeah, that's a good one.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
So
I told you
answer me this.
Star Trek all the time.
I know the captain of Strange New Worlds. Is he Chris Pine's dad from the movies?
No, he's Captain Christopher Pike. So Captain Christopher Pike was the captain of the Enterprise before Kirk became captain of the Enterprise.
So it's who Chris Pine played in the movies.
No, he played a younger version of Kirk before he in an
alternate
universe.
He was young.
All right. So no, all right. Look, you know how Marvel has the multiverse.
Oh, Pike was his boss. That's right.
No, no. Listen, you know how they have
In
the
the movie, remember
multiverse?
there was the older guy, Pike. I know they got the
Yeah,
multiverse
I'm
and
about
shit,
to,
but yeah,
yeah, I'm
Pike
about to
was there.
bring it. Yeah, I'm about to bring
Yeah,
it down.
I
The,
remember.
the the Star Trek movies we've seen with Chris Pine are from a Kelvin timeline.
Right.
What happens is a Romulan ship traveled back in time to
Yeah.
try to right a mistake that happened with Romulans. But what
Mhm.
they wound up doing was they wound up killing Kirk's dad and some other people that were pivotal to the timeline, flowing the way we see it flows in Strange New Worlds. Once they did that, it split it into the Kelvin timeline. Christopher Pike was still the captain of the Enterprise. Pike is supposed to get hurt very, very badly in an accident on a ship. And that's when, and it puts him in a wheelchair. It literally paralyzes him and puts him in a wheelchair. So he can no
Yeah.
longer be in Starfleet. That's when Kirk takes over and becomes captain of the Enterprise. All the rest of the crew members are there except for number one, the girl that flies the ship, and I mean Ortegas, and a couple other people, but Nurse Chapel, Dr. Benga, all of them are still on the Enterprise when Kirk becomes the captain. And in
Bro,
the original series, they even make references to that, like Kirk not being there and what Pike would do and this, that, the other. In the Kelvin timeline, he became really good friends with
all
Pike,
right.
and Pike was like, I knew your dad. Which in the regular timeline, Pike never knew Kirk's
Yeah.
dad. And that's why the
Mm,
Kelvin timeline was so much more interesting because they kind of mixed things up a bit
yeah.
and they moved the story around and did some other things. Like when they found Khan on their 7-year mission, but in the Kelvin timeline,
Right.
they paid attention. Kirk
They
and them
knew.
didn't find him. They know
They
they
put
didn't
his
find
ass
him.
in jail.
No, 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 they
Right.
didn't find him. Starfleet did. So Peter Weller and them
Oh yeah.
they found Khan and brought him back, and he was making weapons for them and ships and all, like upgrading their tech. But Spock from the past had came to the future with that Romulan ship. So
Yeah.
when Spock from the Kelvin timeline called him, was like, "Look, I know I told you I never asked you anything that was supposed to happen. I'm not supposed to do that." And they even acknowledged that it's a different timeline.
Yeah.
And Spock
Yeah.
told him, Spock said, "Listen, don't
This
trust
con
Khan.
dude, the
Do
motherfucker
whatever
there.
you got to do to destroy Khan, because he would not. He's
Yeah.
gonna." And Spock was right. So instead of Spock dying like in Star Trek 3, in the third in the second movie,
Yeah.
Kirk died. And that was the difference between the timelines. Kirk died saving the Enterprise instead of Spock dying saving the Enterprise instead.
Yeah.
And 3 with Khan. So they fought Khan and Spike and Kirk. Spock died in the regular timeline, but in the new
That's a terrible
timeline,
retcon.
Kirk died when they and saved the Enterprise. So it was it
Yeah.
was, a little, it was a little spin on it, man. But
They robbed.
I
They
love
robbed
Star Trek.
Spock of his. I know. I know. No, I like the movies. I think the movies were great. The movies definitely were more for somebody like myself that is more of a Star Wars fan. I think the movies
Mm,
were better than the newer movies, the Kelvin
right.
timeline movies. They definitely spoke to me a lot more than any of the previous movies. But Star Trek, I felt like that was my dad's thing, and Star Wars was kind of like my thing. That's just how it was. Because my dad watched that show. You know way
I'm
before I
I'm
was
gonna be
born. He's
honest.
watching that shit since the '60s and shit.
I'm gonna be honest. You know how I got into Star Trek? We had no cable. And late night,
Mhm,
I had a
mhm.
TV with the rabbit ears in my bedroom. So late night, like I think it came on Friday nights. The old '60s joints would come on. That was all that
Yep,
was on that I could get on TV. So I just started watching
yep,
them. I started liking them.
mhm.
I was like, yeah, these is all right. Like these ain't bad. I mean, it's like 1987, 1988. These joints came out in the '60s. I'm watching this every other night when I'm up late, and I got into it. And when they came out with the Next Generation, I was already hooked on the original ones, so I started watching the Next Generation and got even more hooked. And Deep Space Nine came out, I got hooked even more, and then Voyager, Enterprise, all they just hooked me in, bro. And it all started from me just being a kid watching the '60s.
Mhm.
Even though I wasn't born in the '60s, but
Yeah.
and I didn't see them until the '80s. But
Well,
it
this
was good.
here, this is a dope. This kind of talks about the movie or the aliens rather in the show and why they did the aliens the way they did them in this
Oh,
show
the different ones, yeah, the new ones.
Yeah. So
Oh, you
this
talking
is
about the new ones? Yeah.
The new ones, right? And this is yeah, that's the guy that's kind of the Rutger Hauer homage character, Timothy Olyphant. And this let's see. It says assignment it's not just androids in the mix, but also cyborgs with human and more profoundly, a new breed of tech known as synths, artificial life forms housing human consciousness, children's consciousnesses to be precise. An alien TV show featuring nothing more than the Coca-Cola classic Alien would have sufficed us. So why all the extra bells and whistles? Speaking with Hollywood Reporter, Holly offers an explanation. He wanted the viewers to feel the same way that they did when they watched Ridley Scott's Alien for the first time. And how do we do that? New aliens. Which he has a point. You can't feel the same way again about the original Alien because you've already experienced it, and you have to experience something new to experience it the same way. He said, my job of reinventing these classic films is to figure out what are the series of feelings that the original makes me feel? And then how do I make you feel those same feelings? Says Hawley, referring to not just his work on Alien Earth, but also how he regularly channels the Coen brothers with his Fargo TV adaptation. The reality is, I cannot make you feel the life cycle of this creature for the first time again because you know it so well. This evolution, that it's really 4 monsters and 1, and it's a parasite, every step of the way is worse than the last. So anyone that watched the first Chestbuster launch out of John Hurt knows that knows what Hawley's talking about, because as horrific as that concept is, it does get less surprising as the Alien films wear on. When the egg hatches, the spider-like offering slips out into someone's face, and the rest of the scenario kind of writes itself. We know in the hands of the right author, those expectations can be weaponized against the audience, but to Hawley's point, not exactly reinvented. And he said, now the only way to make you feel the terrible discovery is to add new creatures, and you don't know how they reproduce or what they eat. So how do you get, or so you get this dread that comes every time they're on screen. And you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I do know what's going to be. And then when it happens, it's worse than you could have imagined. And in all fairness, Alien Earth isn't the first time new monsters have been entered in the franchise, whether it's Alien vs. Predator movies or Ridley Scott's Prometheus, which expanded on the space jockey concept from the initial Alien in dramatic and for some divisive fashion. Zucker, who executive produces Alien Earth and serves as chief executive officer for Scott Free Productions, his Hollywood philosophy to show why the show needed new blood, acid or otherwise, was precisely the thing that excited Scott the most and terrified him too. Yeah, the space jockey concept that was in the original Alien movie. There was that big, like, just humanoid figure that looked like he was like sitting in like a gunner ship or like in a gunner seat or something. He's like sitting. They called him the space jockey, and like they never explained it or anything. It was like, what is this giant like humanoid being that they never fucking explained? So later in the movie Prometheus, obviously we saw those guys in life, in like, you know, in their real life, in action, walking around doing shit, basically putting the seed that created life on Earth in the waters, and that was like how, that's why it's called Prometheus, like bringing the sun, like bringing the spawn of life, putting it in the water and type shit. So, but it both alarmed and relieved Ridley Scott at once. I think he was very pleased to know that Noah was going to extend his world beyond that creature that we're so familiar with from the films, and I think they did a good job. This show overall was is good. I'm excited to see the rest of it and have fun watching it. Now, as for what do you call it? Shang-Chi. An iconic MCU hero is the new Iron Fist, changing Marvel for good. Marvel officially unveils its new Iron Fist, none other than the Ultimate Universe's Shang-Chi. Following his MCU debut in Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, Shang-Chi has enjoyed a long-deserved popularity push in Marvel Comics. Now it's his Earth 6160 version turn in the limelight. 6160 is the new Ultimate Universe that we've been reading, with like the 40-year-old Spider-Man and like the new Wolverine and like the Ultimates instead of the Avengers. It's great, really great. Now Ultimates number 14, Ultimate Iron Fist makes his debut in the Ultimates number 15. Ultimates number 15 reveals the origin of Marvel's new Iron Fist, who appears to be even more powerful than the Earth 616 Shang-Chi and Danny Rand combined. So this new Ultimate version of Shang-Chi, and who is now, the Iron Fist, is a much more fitting and suitable, I think, character to wield the Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, than the blonde-haired, blue-eyed playboy, rich kid Danny Rand from the 1970s. And as it says here, despite his popularity in the 1970s, Marvel has been phasing out Danny Rand from every medium. Lin Lei has become a fan favorite character in Marvel Rivals after his well-received comic book debut. So if anybody plays Marvel Rivals, you know that the Iron Fist there is Lin Lei, not Danny Rand. And it's very popular. People love it. Lin Lei is a dope character. But now Lin Lei is not known in the MCU. Now this is all talking about Shang-Chi in the Ultimates number 15 in the comics, right? The Ultimates comics. But what I know, and what this article keeps talking about, the MCU and blah blah blah, we know that Marvel is very much trying to make what they do in the MCU seem like it's from the comics by literally just making shit in the comics intentionally to then put in the MCU, or making shit in the MCU and then literally turning around and telling their writers to do stuff in the comics to support their MCU bullshit. This is a fact. It's not something that is a conspiracy. This is something that they've admitted freely and seem to be proud of. So this is very much, I think, a foreshadowing. We can definitely, I think, take it to the bank that Shang-Chi will be the Iron Fist in the MCU moving forward. They're positioning it that way. That's what they're doing here with this comic, with the comics now, which I'm not mad at all. I think it's great. I think it's great.
I do too.
Because like Shang-Chi is way doper than Danny Rand.
Yeah, and the other idea of making it a female, no, that's not.
No. Yeah, we
I
don't
mean,
do
not
that.
even it's not gonna work, but a lot of people, it's just listen. I think Marvel's starting to get it,
Yeah.
or Disney.
Yeah,
I
make
say
every
Disney, I'm not
character
gonna
a
say
female.
I know Marvel gets it, but I think Disney's starting to get it. And maybe they're listening to this show, or somebody out there. I just tell them, like, why'd you buy Marvel and Star Wars? You bought it for the boys. We know Disney was always a princess thing. It was always for the girls. It was always, boys like it. It was some things they had in it for, but it was primarily for the girls. It's always a princess
I
and a
mean,
hero.
yeah,
That's just
boys
what it
didn't really
was.
care about Disney. We didn't care about
No,
Disney.
no, we didn't care
Boys,
about this.
they didn't
So
have
now
nothing for it.
right. So now you got two IPs where we can care about Disney, and you treat them like they're Disney. They're not. I mean, you might own them, but you got to still let them run respectfully how they ran, and it'll bring people in. People say, well, that's Disney. I want to go to Disneyland because they got a Star Wars section or a Marvel
Yeah,
section. The boys will want to go there and see that,
right.
but they're not going to want to go dressed like a princess and have tea and be Snow White. They don't
Right.
want to be they don't want to be Bambi. They're not
And
into that.
also little boys don't want to be female superheroes. So
No, they don't.
you can't, as much as cool as female superheroes are and as much as we love having them in the mix, you can't make them the focus, because little boys won't want to be that. They won't want to aspire to that. They won't want to, like, go, like you said, Stu, to the theme parks about that. So you kind of have to keep the stuff for the
You gotta keep
boys,
it balanced.
but you
Yeah, you gotta
have
keep it
to,
balanced.
right,
So
but you
yeah,
but you
it's
but you
okay.
have to keep
Yeah,
it, but you have to keep it like you know, like it says here, Iron Fist's identity is an inspired choice. It makes perfect sense for Marvel's greatest martial artist to wield one of the most legendary martial arts powers, especially given Shang-Chi's deep roots in Chinese heritage. And that's what I mean. Like, it makes more
With,
sense
oh yeah,
for
too, Reno.
Iron Fist
And me,
to have, you know, Chinese heritage than to be, you know, a Caucasian dude from America. It's just like how they did
also,
in the fucking this the Doctor Strange movie where they made
yes, I was getting ready to bring
the
that up.
wise one, the
Yes,
white lady.
wise one. Yes, and they
Like,
made
how is that
the
less
source.
racist
Yeah,
than making
it's,
them
yeah,
Chinese?
yeah. The Sorcerer Supreme was a white woman with a bald head and not an old Chinese man like it should have
Right. Right, because they thought making him an old Chinese man would be racist. So let's make him a
been. Nah,
bald white lady.
that's not racist. That's just how it came out. I can see if you stereotyped it or anything else, just make it what it is. The fans would have been more pleased with that. It'd been more
Well,
aesthetically
okay.
pleasing to them.
Yeah, and to be fair, the Fu Manchu, the Dr. Fu Manchu, you know, and so like I think it's even going to talk about that here. Let's see. But that's what they were trying to see was like stereotypical, and that's what they want to get away from, which is cool. You can get away from that, but you don't have to get away from the fact that he's Asian. Like, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people are mad. Just like with Namor, a lot of people were mad. A lot of Spanish people were mad about Namor because Namor was a darker Hispanic, and a lot of Hispanics were like, "Oh, everybody thinks they're Hispanic." But I mean, but it is what it is, and it was what it is. I mean,
Yeah, he's not from
Namor should have
Spain,
been.
he's from South America, so he's
Yeah,
supposed
he's
to
from
be dark.
right, and a lot of Spanish people wanted him to be more lighter, but he was
Yeah,
a
well,
darker, and that's only because, like you said, he's from South America.
right.
A lot of the Hispanics didn't get that. They just didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. And like this says, it says Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings titular hero Simu Liu would be the first Asian American lead in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but his greatest comic adversary, Fu Manchu, will be rightfully replaced by the Mandarin, uh, Lin Chu Wai, in the film. In the comics, Fu Manchu is a genius, master sorcerer, and father of Shang-Chi. He was introduced in Marvel Comics in 1973, but Fu Manchu's history traces back to the 1910s novels by Saxon Romer. In the original books, as well as the adaptive films, they spawned Dr. Fu Manchu embodied yellow peril, the racist fear that Asian cultures threaten Western civilization. After Marvel Comics lost rights to the Fu Manchu name, the character was renamed Zheng Zhu, but his xenophobic origins would remain. Xenophobic being people who are like racist against people from other countries, like against foreigners. You're a bigot against foreigners. That means you're a xenophobe. And we're talking about xenomorphs. The Mandarin has some similarities to the character he will replace. Like Fu Manchu, he is a super genius with magical abilities, though he is most commonly seen the enemy of Iron Man. The villain's MCU debut will pay off years-long tease that began with the first Iron Man movie. A terrorist organization called the Ten Rings appeared, referred to by the 10 alien rings that gave the Mandarin his powers. Imposter versions of the character by Sir Ben Kingsley and Guy Pearce faked out audiences in Iron Man 3, but the short film All Hail the King confirmed the true Mandarin's existence. The inclusion of the Mandarin's 10 rings in the Shang-Chi movie's title suggests that they will have a major role, taking Fu Manchu's place as Shang-Chi's ultimate enemy. But yeah, basically, although Mandarin's characterization has included Orientalist elements, Fu Manchu perpetuated racist stereotypes for nearly a century. His history in media outside of Marvel Comics shaping Western ideas of Asians for the worse. The character's legacy of harm contrasts directly with the filmmaker's mission to uplift Asian American audiences. The Mandarin, a newer character, has more room for reinterpretation and reclamation by the Asian American creatives behind the film. When Fu Manchu was brought to Marvel Comics, the character's overt racism persisted. Epitomized by his yellow face-like design, Shang-Chi was born after Fu Manchu selected a perfect white American woman to bear his children, echoing his mission to kill the white man and take his women. In the 1932 film, The Mask of Fu Manchu, the character has little room for respectful revision and adaptations, not to mention his exclusion would respect the wishes of Shang-Chi creator Jim Starlin. By comparison, Mandarin's history is not quite as loaded, although earlier designs had caricatured look. Modern incarnations have strayed from this. Yeah, the original Mandarin very much had that stereotypical Fu Manchu look with the mustache with the long tails and the long pointy beard and the very much like stereotypical features and
Super
whatnot.
stereotypical.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so again, like I think it's a dope thing that Shang-Chi is going to be Iron Fist. I didn't hate the Iron Fist the Netflix Iron Fist, really. I didn't hate that show as much as most people did, but I definitely think it would have been better with a different actor playing Iron Fist and
Oh,
him being
100%.
Asian and
I hated
maybe
the way it
wearing
ended.
fucking
I'm not gonna lie, man. I just hated the way it
costume.
ended.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hated
it
the way
was.
it ended. I just hated the way it ended. I didn't hate the
Well,
show.
it
I
ended
hated the way
as
it
a
ended.
cliffhanger to lead on to the other shows that it was, you know.
And the female Iron Fist, Danny passed the fist on to the chick.
Oh
And then
right.
I hated, and then I hated the way too. Like you gotta remember, man, Iron Fist is a master martial artist. And so like to study with the monks that he studied with, they made this chick that was learning like Americanized karate almost as good or better than Danny Rand. Like that's the problem I had with it. And she shouldn't have been.
Uh,
She should have been good, but not better than Danny or as good as Danny anyway. That was my problem. And then he passed the dragon power to her. Yeah, I didn't like that. It just didn't sit well with me. But I'm with you though. I didn't hate the show. I just hate the way it played out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, overall, Aliens was great. Um, Recommended if you haven't seen it.
Highly
Check it out.
recommended.
We'll be
Highly
talking about
recommended.
it. Yeah, we'll be talking about it every probably every Wednesday
Every
for a
week.
while.
Yeah, every Wednesday. Yeah, we're gonna have to.
But
We're gonna have to.
I know Stu got before Stu got to go. We're gonna talk about some toys and good collectible things as we are here on Sixth Element Collectibles. Now this is Snake Eyes version 4, number 165 in the GI Joe classified line, and oh, this is bittersweet. I really like this figure. I just really want to hate it because we got Snake Eyes version 1. We got Snake Eyes version 2. And now we get Snake Eyes version 4. What's missing?
Mm. I'll give you
Version
three guesses.
3. Right,
But you
version
only need
3.
one.
And I love version 3, bro. He's got these two big butterfly swords on his chest. He's got this 3-piece staff. I have a very sneaking suspicion that the reason they didn't make him, and I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, unless it's just that Lenny doesn't like him, because he might not like his eyes because he has like sort of like more like goggles on than anything, and some
Yeah,
people don't like
yeah,
them.
he did.
But cool ass design, dude. But I think the reason that they didn't make him is because of the butterfly swords on his chest. I think they don't know how to do it.
How to do it. Yep, I was going to say that.
The figure, it was molded. They were molded on his chest. They weren't. You couldn't remove them. They were part of his mold, right? But they were two big swords, big chrome swords on his chest. Called butterfly knives. They're flat, wide swords. You've seen them in Wu-Tang videos. And the thing is with classified is they will have to be removable. because everything, classified doesn't do a lot of molded weaponry. They really don't do everything. So anything that was a mold in the 80s figure is now removable. Like any guns that were molded to the leg and shit like that are now real guns they can take out. Any knives that were on their chest, grenades that were molded on, all that shit now is 3D. So they'd be doing the same thing. So it may be like they don't know how to do it. Like, would it, and how would they do it? Like, would they maybe they'd have to have a hole through both of them and like a peg sticking out of his chest, and they'd have to like clamp onto that. And then would they be like moving? They might have not. They probably haven't figured out. Are you gonna have them slide into something? I don't know. They got to figure out how to do that. I think that's why we don't have a version 3 Snake Eyes. But without further ado, let's check out version 4. I haven't really modified. I want to show you. So here we go. Here's the box. I mean, you saw the box. I showed you the box. But check him out. Come on, then. All right. He's got this cool like writing. It's like I don't know if it's Japanese or Chinese character there. You see that? And then he's got the gun, or the red feature, red paint on the gun. These cool little throwing knives on his leg. The vest is kind of plain. It doesn't have any like features and stuff. Like all the buttons and snaps, all that I'm gonna have to paint. You see all the little buckles and snaps and buttons and folds and pockets. All that should be different colors, or at least painted or something. And I'm gonna chrome out all the metal, and then I'm gonna chrome out his mask. I'm gonna chrome out the rings on those throwing knives. But he's got the character, the Chinese character on both forearms, on like his bracers. He's got the swords that mount on his back, and they have a red hamong, or I don't know if I said a hong. I think I said that wrong. But anyway, I think it's a hamong. But there you go. And then also, sorry, last but not least, his boots are really cool because they have like a tabby, the toe. It's called a tabby boot, where they had like the split in the toe, like how you see the Ninja Turtles. That's because ninjas really have that toe split, because they wear a tabby boot, and they put that in here. So that's really cool. He's got the tabby boot on with the shin guard. He's got the blue trim. And it's from the 90s, this figure. So this was not a character that I had as a kid, because I didn't have Joes after the 80s, but here's the problems with this figure. So I took this off his leg, but I'll show you what it is. So right here, they have this thing on his leg, and it's supposed to be a holster for this gun, I imagine. And it's like an open slot, so you would like just stick the gun in there, I suppose, like that. All right. But the thing is, you'll notice how it just slips out. It's very much loose, like it just slips in and out. But the worst part, it's like rubber. Look at that. How's that going to hold anything? How's that going to hold a gun, guys? What are you doing? What? So that's coming off. And then he also comes with a red grappling hook, which, if I did use the leg holster, here's what I'd do with it. So I would stick the grappling hook in there like that. but I'm not doing that either. So that's it. Now, my other complaint, my other gripe, this. Look at that. It's just loose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that sucks. Gonna have to figure out some hack to because
I got I got one for you. Got one
that
for you.
hole is huge, so I'm gonna have to fill that with something. Yeah.
You ain't even got to fill it with nothing. Got something for you. Just put a little, take a paper towel, wrap it around that, stick it back there, stick just fine.
Well,
Wrap it
that's what I
around
mean.
the peg. Yeah, just take a paper towel, wrap it around that peg, stick it in there. It'll fit just
Well,
fine. Won't even move, won't come out.
yeah. The thing is, this thing ain't big enough to wrap the towel around it. It won't fit in there. But you know that
No,
blue,
get it small.
you know
No, get it
that
small.
blue. No, listen, you know that blue sticky goop shit that it's like you could um stick shit on your wall with it. Yeah,
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
like this shit.
Yeah, yeah. You can use that too. That's what we used when I was a kid, and the holes are too big. We use that. But then we figured out stuff a little tissue in there,
No, because
stuff a little
tissue's gonna
tissue.
fall out, bro. Tissue's just tissue. That's gonna stay in there. See, like a putty. Uh,
Yeah, hey, listen. They both work, and that's all that matters. Only thing with the stuff, the putty that you put in, um, I don't know. We could never find anything really good, man. We used to use silly putty.
um,
Uh, I
yeah,
don't
you
know. We
gotta
used
use
all
this.
kind of trash, man. Y'all get something good. We can never get our hands on nothing good. So that's why we started using like, you get like a bounty paper towel and wrap it around the peg and stick it back there. Or you get like maybe some puff tissues, wrap it around the peg, stick it in there. You know what I mean? Not the whole tissue, but you would rip it up into strips. That's right. Or you get some tape. We put some tape on it, make it a little bigger, stick it in there, get some duct tape. I mean, a bunch of things we did. But the putty, you're
Could
right,
work.
it's the best, but we never could get never getting that really good, man. That was the only thing we had a problem doing, getting something good that wouldn't
Yeah,
fall out.
I didn't know they had that blue shit when we were kids.
Yeah. Like,
It came out
yeah.
later.
We had silly putty, yeah, Play-Doh. We used Play-Doh. We
Oh
used to
no,
use Play-Doh, all
yeah.
kind of trash.
This ain't
Uh,
this is some shit that came out later in like Office Depot.
yeah, we
This
used
is
to
that
use
sticky
clay.
tack.
Yeah, anything we can get our hands on to make it fit, that's all we use. That's how we got that. And we didn't have cable back then. So, you know, I got that. It's the theme tonight, man. I had a cable.
No, yeah. Now they the Gamerverse gave us our new Omega Red here. And he's great. No complaints at all whatsoever, except for the fact that his butterfly joints, like his arms only go that far together. And he's got butterfly joints, but the original, his joints are much deeper. His hands can go all the way together. Like that. And
Mm.
you can see the butterfly joint is much deeper into the chest, goes much farther in, so that they can all, his hands can touch and shit. So these are really good fly joints on the original. The new one has more of a darker, almost burgundy color red, whereas the original one is more of a brighter fire engine, I guess you'd say, red. He's got white tentacles, and on his cheeks, let's see if we can get that to focus. On his cheeks, there's a little like a little bit of like tech or something.
Mm.
Yeah, see that like tech going in
Yeah,
his
yeah, I can
mouth.
see that. Yeah.
But just like his tentacles, it's white. And there's his face sculpt. And the Omega thing on his head is pretty big. What's he got on his tooth? was eating some broccoli or something. All right. And then so the new one, his is silver on his cheeks, and the Omega symbol on his head is smaller and more defined. His tentacles are silver instead of white, which I thought in the game they were white, and that's weird. They made the Gamerverse one silver. But maybe I have that backwards, but I'm pretty sure they were white in the game.
I think they're white too.
Yeah, and then the new head versus the old head, it's almost, Jesus Christ, it's almost the same hairdo, but the new one over here is the new one. This one, it's just a little different shaping there for the ponytail and also the bangs or the side hair, and you can see the Omega symbol on the headband is a different size. The face is actually the same face. It's just painted so much better on the new one, so much different. I think the eyes on the new one are bigger too. Yeah, the eyeballs are bigger. The old one had the more beady eyes. Other than that, it's very similar. But you also notice the shoulder pads are a very different shape. The three silver canisters on his chest thing are very different size. Like I said, the shoulder pads are completely different shape, not even similar. The new belt buckle's a little smaller, and then the new one, the knee pads are smaller, and they're silver, which neither thing am I mad at. So I really like the new one, I do, but the old one is more articulate because of the butterfly joints. Other than that, they have the exact same arms and legs, the same pinned up joints, the same. They even have the same hand sculpts. The hand sculpts are identical, but the new hands have a cool Omega graphic on the back, right there, whereas the old hands were just a blank white, just a blank white hand. Yeah, and then all the tentacles and shit are all silver on the new one, whereas the old one they're all white. But everything that's a little bit more silver on the new one. But I was disappointed. I mean, I really thought they were identical. I thought there was no difference at all. So I was really happy that there's a lot of differences. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And then one more thing that I'm super duper happy about, or proud of, I mean, is I kit bashed a Wolverine into probably one of my favorite of all my Wolverines now. He just looks super dope.
Yeah, that's hard.
The claws are dope. The suit is awesome. I put the head sculpt from the X-Men 97, the modern one. That looks really cool. I put that hood thing on his head from another figure, so it looks like his mask is like taken off, like hanging on the back of his head like a hood. So I got that from one figure. I got the head from another figure. I got one clawed hand, one non-clawed hand, but it's like an all black suit. I really like that one there. He's dope as fuck. He's dope as fuck. And then this can't wait for this new one to come out. But the Wolverine shelf is really coming along. It's really, really dope. Yeah, I can't wait to get the new MvC Gamerverse Wolverine. That joint is way bigger than any Wolverine we've ever had. Slade said I had that Snake Eyes figure back in the day, and I ordered the classified version 2. Can't wait to get it. Yeah, version 4 I didn't have. I wasn't I wasn't still playing with GI Joe when version 4 came out, because version 4 was part of that whole Ninja Force thing in the 90s, and I just wasn't playing with GI Joes in the 90s. Otherwise I would have had it. I mean, inevitably, because it's Snake Eyes. But yeah, the whole Ninja Force thing in the 90s was all about bright colors and shit and being all colorful, and which to me went against everything that GI Joe was.
That's true. I
Speaking of
don't know,
GI
but
Joe,
I just didn't. I don't know. I wasn't in none of them. I wasn't in none of that Ninja Force, Tiger Force, Night Force. It's turning me off,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the J, the Lady J tier. So this project, we got 1 day left. It's up to 9,957. Come on, guys. We just need like 40 fucking more people, bro, to order this thing, and we will get Lady J, which honestly, guys, it's the best tier. Let's take stock. Flint, I don't really need another Flint right now. I just got the new Flint, retro Flint, and um he's perfect. Utterly perfect. He's the best Flint they've ever done by far. He looks just like the 80s version. He's everything that we would want in a Flint. Um
And he looks like the one from the cartoon when they
yeah.
did the snow missions. Whenever they did the snow mission.
No, I'm not talking about this one, bro. I'm talking about the one that we got, the retro one. The retro
That one's
cardboard
perfect.
Flint. That's perfect.
That's a perfect Flint. I'm
Because
saying
he
this
looks
one looks
just
like
like the toy. This looks like
he
the
does.
cartoon. Yeah, when he had the cart
Yeah,
when he had the snowsuit and shit. But the thing is like it, figures with big bulky bomber jackets and stuff, and like big bulky. See how bulky he looks? I don't really like
yeah.
figures like that because they're not very posable. They don't feel very good like in your hand. I don't know. They just like I like something like this because he's like thin, and he's not very bulky, so you can do all kinds of different poses and stuff. So that's more desirable in my opinion. So like I'm really thinking like that this figure is really not all that. It's really not. It's just nothing really great about it, and I don't need a fucking weenie roast. I do not need a fucking weenie roast, bro. It comes with 2 hot dogs and 2 sticks for a weenie roast.
Yeah.
I don't need the
You can't
Bivo whack
you
weenie
can't
roast.
fight Cobra. You can't fight Cobra in an empty stomach. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't need to see it. I mean, I don't need to have it on my shelf. I can imagine that they ate before they came. And then tier 2. It's basically a lean-to that is going to take up shelf space. If I'm being really honest, I personally don't do dioramas. So I basically like to set up my figures to display them as like their statues. But I don't really set up like scenes where I have them, you know, roasting hot dogs or sitting in front of a campfire or fighting or shooting at each other even. I just have them posed like
That's
they're
but that's
statues.
what that's for.
But
No,
that's
we
what this
get it.
is
But
for. But it's not for me.
that's for those guys. Yeah, that's for those
Right.
guys. That's for the hard. That's for the guy that's got I don't know 100 Cobra troopers,
Right.
75 bats. You know what I
Right.
mean? 200 Crimson Guards.
And they make
That's
movies
for
or
that guy.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, they taking
Or
pictures and
they're
they doing all that.
photographers. Yeah.
Right. That's for those guys that do
Right.
that.
And that's
Yeah.
great. If that's what you want to, that's great for them guys. But I'm trying to cope right now with the fact that I know I'm not getting these. So I'm laying the copium upon very, very heavy. Now, because I would love to have this shit, I'll be honest. I mean, sure, if it was a free bonus tier, I'd love to have it. But honestly, I'm not mad about getting the snowcat without them. I know a lot of people, a lot of, and I'm gonna say it, a lot of morons are online going, "Oh, it's just not worth it to me without the fucking tiers." So you're telling me you would pay all that money for these? Or let me guess, you bought the Rattler for the patches.
I was curious. I was going to say it's either that or the patches. Take your pick.
You
Pick your
didn't
poison.
complain about the fucking patches. So no, dog, it's about the item, the main item of the HasLab. That's what the price is. These are not these items, and I had this argument today. These items are not figured into the price. The 324.99 is the snowcat. These items are bonuses. The snowcat is a figure and a vehicle with lights and all that shit. That's 324. These things are bonuses for selling more, incentives for us to go out and spread word of mouth and get more people to buy it, right? That's all this shit is. They're bonus tiers. Now, I would never buy a HasLab for the bonus tiers. I didn't buy the Rattler for the patches or the extra Baroness or the made up figure for the gunner that they made up. I don't need any of that. Didn't care about it. Didn't ask for it. Just like I didn't ask for a bivouac tent. I didn't ask for a weenie roast or an Arctic Flint or even an Arctic Lady J. What I asked for was a snowcat and another mainline character, and that's Frostbite. And that's what Hasbro gave us. HasLabs have never, ever, ever included a tier that was a mainline character. This is the other complaint I'm hearing. Well, if they would have just given us like some of the snow characters that we wanted as tiers, that would have been. When would they ever do that? They wouldn't give any mainline characters as tiers because a tier is a bonus. It's not something you're guaranteed to get. And you would need them if they were mainline characters. What if they gave mainline characters and it didn't fund? Now what,
Right.
dummy?
You could have
So
just
the
sold
thing
them
is,
instead. Okay, just
no,
sold them
but
standalone.
well, right, but that's the thing. They have to make them as standalone figures because they're mainline characters. Now, with the Dragonfly, you had Crazy Legs, you had Glenda, who is a comic book character. So they're either a comic book character or they're a Night Force or some other repaint, which came with the Dragonfly, or they're a
But Crazy Legs was a standalone character. We never
yeah,
got him.
but you got a repaint, but he's a Night Force version that came with Dragonfly. You don't get the OG Crazy Legs with the Dragonfly. You get a Night
No,
Force Crazy Legs with the
that
Dragonfly.
that would be lame. If they,
The
I'm
only,
not. I'm gonna keep
you
that a
know,
buck. I'd have been hot about that because Crazy Legs was kind of like a fan favorite a little bit. We kind of dug Crazy Legs because
right. So that's
the
another
whole
reason that
motif.
why they wouldn't do it because the people that fucking didn't get the HasLab wouldn't be able to get them characters. That's another reason
Yeah,
why they'll never make the tiers a mainline character. And yes, Frostbite's a character, but he's a driver. You
he's
had
a
to
driver.
buy
You
the
had to
buy the
buy the
vehicle to get
snowcat.
him back in the
Yep,
day. So that's how he
yep.
is now.
Just like
We
Wild
was
Bill. You had to buy the
like
Dragonfly to
Wild
get
Bill,
Wild Bill. Deep Six. You had to buy the tiger. Was it Tiger Shark?
Tiger
You had to
Shark,
buy
yeah,
that. Wild Weasel. You had to buy the Cobra Rattler to get the Wild Weasel.
right.
Ace. You had to buy
Ace,
the All Striker to get Ace.
right,
You couldn't get certain characters
yeah,
without the vehicles. They came with those
yeah.
vehicles, and they were dope.
Crankcase, and yeah,
Crankcase,
and
yeah, those are some dope figures. But you had to get the vehicle.
so if we can bust 10,000, if we get another 40 people by tomorrow, which I know we will, I have no doubt, we get Lady J. Let me tell you why Lady J is the absolute best tier on here. I just explained why I don't need Flint or really wouldn't care for Flint. I just explained why this is like really taking. First of all, a shovel, an axe, a machete. I already have those. They already made all those. An ammo case and a rocket launcher. We already have that kind of shit. The gurney. We already have that. Came with Doc. I got two of them. So basically, the extra shit that comes with this that we don't have is the tent thing, two fish, and a fire. So shit I don't really need. Now Lady J. Here's why this is dope. This will be it's cool to have this, Arctic Lady J. That's cool. She'll be riding shotgun with Frostbite. Love it. Love to have it. Great. A bonus. Don't really need it. That's cool. You know what's great about the Lady J fucking tier? Is the fucking it's the head without the hat.
The helmet. Yep. Yep.
Because that head goes on your retro Lady J body. because they've never given us a decent Lady J head.
Mm-mm.
The Lady J heads have been atrocious. They've been a big complaint by a lot of collectors. Is the so the Lady J, what you call it, head sculpt that they put in this box here, that's the best goddamn part of the tier. So you get a Snow Lady J to rock with your Frostbite, and you get the best Lady J head sculpt they've ever made or are gonna make to go on your retro Lady J body, which is a great Lady J body if you're looking for her to look, like an OG Lady J, very iconic. Man, I would love to have this fucking Lady J head on that fucking old school, on that retro body, man. And let me show you. Let me see if I can. Damn it.
Yeah, that's a dope. That's a dope hat. That's how
That
Lady J should look.
that's
Yeah.
right, exactly. I would buy the Snowcat, and this is the only tier I get. I'm happy. That's what we need. 40 more people, and you get this head for your retro Lady J. You get a Snow Lady J to ride shotgun with Frostbite, and you get the fucking Snowcat, man. Dog, people are gonna be so salty, dog. Right now, people are like, oh, I'm not buying that. I wouldn't pay that. It's just the value is just not there without the tiers. Okay.
That's your opinion.
Y'all gonna be hunting on
Okay.
eBay crying. Can I get one for a reasonable price? No, because there's only 10,000 made, bitch. It's a fucking collector's item now. You just made the cat more valuable. Now the snow cat is going to be like quadruple the price on eBay. You'll never get one. Not for any. You're going to pay $1,000 for the snow cat after this. Please don't miss out. Y'all, you're going to feel so fucking salty if you don't get this snow cat. I mark my words. You're going to you FOMO like you've never felt. Severe copium is going to have to be employed just to fucking make it through the day. Oh, man. I feel for y'all. But Stu Dog, I know you got the bounce. Warpath said, Crazy Legs. I thought you were talking about OG breakdancers like the Crazy Legs breakdancing phenomenon named Crazy Legs. You can't see my legs down below my waist, but I'm doing some amazing breakdancing fucking shit that you've never even seen or heard of before. Shit is crazy right now.
Tier three breakdancing under the table right now.
Woo.
Breaking 4.
Man. But listen, if you haven't gotten a HasLab, man, please back this thing. You're really gonna regret it if you don't. If you love G.I. Joe, if you collect vehicles, if you have gotten any of the HasLabs before, don't make this the one you missed, dog. Please. It's the biggest one they've ever made. Dude, and these pictures, oh god, they're not doing it justice, not even a little bit, dog. I've seen some like look at this. This is CGI digital rendering. Look at that. Look how fake that is. When you see this thing in person, bro, these are digital renders. It's gonna look so much better. And I've seen photos of it, dude. It's with the this thing, the dome here in the cab lifts open and pops forward like Lamborghini fucking style, or like leans forward and shit. And the inside of the cab lights up like it's, oh, bro, I can't wait to get this thing. And the Snowcat was one of my favorite vehicles. I don't know about y'all. I think it was one of the dopest vehicles back in the day. But the ill thing about it was never the right size. It was always a little bit too small than it was. Like when we got the toy, I was like, man, this shit was bigger on the show.
Yeah.
They're acting like it's a 2-seater. This shit was a big ass vehicle on the show. They're acting like this is a 2-seater Jeep, the toy, and it's not. So that's why a lot of people thought that the Snowcat was too small for a HasLab. But what they did was they did us justice. For those of us who thought we got robbed in the 80s with the small version of the Snowcat, now it's the actual version, the actual scale like it was in the cartoon, where the cab is a 3-seater in the front. and you can fit like 10 or 11. There's places for like 10 characters on this vehicle. You can put like 10 dudes on this thing. It's not no little ass Jeep. The Thunder Machine, keep in mind, that's a 2-seater. It's a car that the Dreadnought modified. It was like a Trans Am. It's the size of a car. It's small. Thunder Machine is not, but the Thunder Machine toy and the Snowcat were sort of similar in size because the Snowcat was scaled way down. This is what people are not understanding. If you got the Snowcat to the scale of the show, it'd be way bigger than the Thunder Machine was. That's why the Thunder Machine will never be a HasLab and the Snowcat is. But people still aren't grasping this. They're holding on to shit they thought they heard or knew from the internet, from that they learned, and oh, they know better. Well, okay, know better all you want. But I promise you, next year when everybody has their Snowcats and they're fucking unboxing them, bro, and you're looking at them bitches in hand, and you go on eBay to try to get one, and that shit is looking like $1,200. Oh man, don't come to me, because I ain't got one for a reasonable price. But that's our show, y'all. And if I ever told you anything that you should ever remember, it's this one thing, and don't ever forget it, y'all. But hey, before I tell you that secret, like, subscribe. We do this every Wednesday and every Saturday. If you started the show late, man, run it back. It was a great show. And we'll see you guys, it'll be Saturday. So have a good rest of your week. And don't ever forget.
Be water, my friend.